Hey YouTube, this is I Love Dolphin Butt here, coming to you with a Six Samurai deck profile after the September 2012 ban list. Alright, first up we have two legendary Six Samurai Kageki. This card is pretty good. You can, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Six Samurai monster from your hand. So you can put get a tuner to summon, but if you only have just this in your hand, you can set it face down. Alright, and it has some 2000 defense, so they're gonna be running into that. Next we have the main tuner of the deck, Kagemusha of the Six Samurai. This is a really good card. When your opponent wants to play like a Fiendish Chain or like any trap or spell or monster effect to target one of your 600 monsters, this card's effect automatically switches it to this, so your monsters will be safe. And yeah. Next we have Elder of the Six Samurai. This is like your Cyber Dragon. When you have no monsters and your opponent does, you can special summon this card. It can be accessible easily to pull out like a Synchro, Shien, Beast. Yeah. Next we have three legendary Six Samurai Kizan. This card's really amazing. It can go over a lot of monsters. When you control Six Samurai monster, you can special summon it. And when you have two or more other face-up Six Samurai monsters, this card gains 300. So if you have all three out on the field, you have you're going up against an army of 2100 attack point monsters. Next we have Legendary Six Samurai Enishi. This is like compulsory that can be used over and over and over, as long as you have Six Samurai monsters in your graveyard. Because this card's effect, you can banish two Six Samurai monsters from your graveyard to select one monster on the field and return it to the hand. This card can be activated. This card's effect can be activated during either player's turn, but there is a catch. You have to have another Six Samurai monster on the field. So if you summon Kageki and then normal summon this, special summon this, and you have monsters in your 600 monsters in your graveyard, and your opponent has a strong monster, you can return it to the hand. Next we have the Six Samurai Zanji. This card is pretty good. It has 1800. When this card attacks a monster, at the end of the damage step, it automatically gets destroyed. So if this card attacks like a wind-up Zen mains, you take 300. Okay, and then it gets destroyed. But yeah. But you have to control the Six Samurai monster to use this effect. Next we have the Six Samurai Irou. This card is pretty good. It can destroy Morphing Jar, Raiko, but as long as the monster is face down. But you have to control again another Six Samurai monster. Next we have the Grandmaster of the Six Samurai. I only run one of these because having two in your hand can kind of mess you up, because it can also recycle itself. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can easily just add it back to your hand, so you'll never run out. Next, we just have Effect Veiler, negate most of your monster's effects, and plus the tuner, just in case you have a lot of monsters on your field, your opponent's not activating anything, you can normal summon it, sync. Alright, that's all for the monsters. Now we're moving on to the spells. We have two Shien Smoke Signal. This is one of the main search engines for the deck. You can get a level 3 or lower Six Samurai monster from your deck to your hand. So most people go for Kagemusha or Kageki. Next we have the second search engine, Reinforcement of the Army. This can get one level 4 or lower Earth Warrior type monster from your deck to your hand. So you can get Kizan, Zanji, Irou, Kageki, anything you need. Next we have two Asceticisms. This card's effect, you can select one Six Samurai monster you control. Special summon one Six Samurai monster from your deck that has a different name but same attack. So if you have an Elder, play this. You can get Kagemusha and go for a Beast, Shien, Catastor, you know. Next we have the main draw power of the deck, 3 Six Samurai United. I like this card at 3 because if you get all 3 of these, a Kageki and like another Six Samurai monster, you play all 3 of these, normal summon Kageki, special summon another Kagemusha, Each one of these have 2 counters. You can send all 3 to the graveyard to draw another 6 cards. But the maximum counters on this card can be 2. Next we have Dojo. This card is kind of like a gateway, but like, you know, a gateway is still better. Every time you normal summon or special summon a 6 samurai monster, this card gains 1 counter. You can send this card to the graveyard to special summon 1 6 samurai monster from your deck that's equal to the number of counters or less. Next we have Gateway, the nicest card, a good card for the 6 samurais. This card can make the whole deck swarm massively. Like, when this card has 4 counts, you can add 1 6 samurai monster from your deck to your hand. Most people like to go for Kizan or no, from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Most people like to get Kizan. So, and when it has 2 counters, you can remove 2. One 6 samurai monster you control gains 500 attack, so it can get over a lot of beat sticks. Next we have Book of Moon. I like using this card when I have Irou on the field because it switches the monster face down and then Irou attacks it and then it just gets destroyed automatically. Next we have the staples, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. Next we have 2 MSTs to just get rid of that back row or anything like that. Next we have 1 Forbidden Lance. This card, I like this card very much because 1 monster you control, it loses you select 1 monster on the field, it loses 800 and it's unaffected by the other spell and trap cards. You can use this on your own monster and save it from Mirror Force, Compulsory. But another reason why I like this card is, say if you have a monster on your field and your opponent has a BLS, if he's brave enough to attack, he attacks the BLS, and then you can use Forbidden Lance to make that monster lose 800, and yeah, BLS will get destroyed. Alright, that's all for the spells. Next, we're moving on to the traps. We have 2 Compulsories. I like this card because it can return monsters from the field to the owner's hand. So say if you attack, your opponent plays Mirror Force, you can easily just activate this to save it. And say if your opponent had like XYZs or Synchro Summons, you can easily just return it back to the thing. Mirror Force, just to destroy your opponent's attack position monsters. Bottomless, I only won one of them. This card is pretty good when your opponent summons a monster with 1500 more attack. It gets banished, but most people like to run monsters underneath it, so that's why I'd rather have the Compulsories than Bottomless. But of course, Bottomless banishes it, so it can't be Monster Reborn or Call of the Haunted. Next, we have Double-Edged Sword Technique. This brings back most of your 6 samurai monsters from the grave, and then when they're on the field, you can special summon them. Sync with them. But if you don't sync, at the end phase, you have to take damage to the attack points. But you get to keep it. Next, we have Masakani Magatama. I don't even know how to pronounce it. This card saves most of your 6 samurai monsters when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect to destroy your 6 samurai monsters. It just negates that card's effect and destroys it. But you have to you control a 6 samurai monster face up. Next we have the Solem Brigade. Negates almost everything of your opponents. Alright, that's all for the main deck and the traps. Next we go into the extra deck. 1, we have the main 6 samurai monster, Legendary 6 samurai Shien. This card is amazing. It can negate your opponent's spell and trap. It can negate your opponent's spell and trap card once per turn. And if it was to be destroyed, you can just destroy another 6 samurai monster you control instead. Next we have Naturia Beast. This card requires 1 Earth monster and 1 or more non-Earth monsters. 1 Earth tuner, 1 or more non-tuner Earth monsters. This card can negate all of your opponent's spell cards just by milling the top 2 cards of your deck. And the more cards you mill, alright, it can sometimes be a bad thing, but when you have Barkion, it just gives you more cards to banish. Next we have Naturia Barkion. Like I said, the more cards you have in your graveyard, it's better because all you have to do is banish 2 cards from your graveyard to negate one of your opponent's trap cards. Next we have Allied Justice Catastor. This card gets over a lot of things like Zen mains. If this card were to attack Zen mains would have to detach 2 materials. One for this because its effect. This is a dark and Zen mains is a fire, and just because this has 2200 attack and Zen mains only has 2100 defense, so it would have to detach 2. Next we have Iron Chain Dragon. The only reason why I added this card because most of the time I can go for a level 6, but I can't go for Barkion because it's like a wind type and a Kagemusha. So I add Iron Chain Dragon because it can get over a lot of stuff, and when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, your opponent has to mill the top 3, so it prevents them from like getting Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Bottomless, you know. Next we have Stardust Dragon. It can negate any card effect that would destroy a card on your field, and it comes back at the end. You have to tribute it, and it comes back at the end phase. And then next we have Wind Up Zen mains. It's awesome. When it would be destroyed by battle, when it would just be destroyed, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card instead, and to negate its destruction. And at the end phase, if this card detached an XYZ material, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Next we have Giga Brilliant. I like this card because you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card to all monsters you currently control gain 300 attack. So like just raising up your army. Next we have Max Saber Invoker. This card requires 2 level 3 monsters. This card can get out your Kizan just in case you have another level 4 monster on the field you want to overlay. Here, next we have Heroic Champion Excalibur. This card is a very strong beat stick for the deck. It requires 2 level 4 warrior type monsters. You can detach 2 XYZ materials to double this card's attack points until the end phase of your opponent's next turn. Next we have Shadow the 6 Samurai Shi-En. This card is amazing when you have Kageki on the field, because when you can detach 1 XYZ material to select one 6 Samurai monster you control, and its original attack becomes 2000, and then Kageki's effect will kick in just to give it another 1500. So this will have 3500 until the end phase. Next we have Blade Armor Ninja. This card requires 2 level 4 warrior type monsters, and its ability is you can detach 1 XYZ material to target 1 ninja itself, so it can attack twice. It can get over Zen mains twice. So yeah. Next we have Utopia, just to block attacks, protect your Shi-En and most of your other cards. Next we have Mouse Stroke, the Symphony Djinn. This requires 2 level 4 warrior. This card is 2 level 4 monsters. When this card would be destroyed, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card instead. Its second effect, you can detach 1 XYZ material to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, flip it face down. So it's like another Book of Moon, and then when you have Irou, the 6 Samurai Irou, you can just attack it and destroy it automatically. Next, not but not least, we have Steel Storm Roach. I really like this card. It can get rid of when your opponent was special summon level 5 or higher monster, you can detach 1 XYZ material and negate the special summon. But it can be sometimes dead because it only has 19, so it can kind of be destroyed easily. Alright people, that's it for my 6 Samurai build. Thanks for watching.